Now, the next vehicles, we're going to send out two vehicles together because these two vehicles served together in the Second World War. And we can explain to you the different roles of these vehicles in reconnaissance. In the Gulf War segment, we were talking a lot about the CBRT and the other small wheel vehicles that went along with them and their role in reconnaissance and what is reconnaissance. So we're going to have a look at two rare Second World War vehicles that work together in the field with many Canadian and Commonwealth regiments. Marshall, send out the recce troop.
There I am, driving it out. Wee-haw! See that suspension working. That flag looks so awesome.
So this first very small vehicle that you can see is a Daimler Dingo Mark II. This one was built in 1944. A very small armored car. And then a T-17E1 Staghound. And they're both flying the flags and have the markings of Canada's own Royal Canadian Dragoons that continue to serve our country today. And we're doing armored reconnaissance during the Second World War. Okay, wait a minute. There's something just not right here. This doesn't look like a Royal Canadian Dragoon. Is that Charles Abdu? If you guys play World of Tanks, you might know Deadmeat. There he is, driving the and his wife Dara. And ma'am, I don't think that's regulation headwear. I'm just going to bring you over a microphone here.
Check one.
Handshake. So, sir.
Howdy, Jeremy.
Hey, how are you doing, Chuck?
Doing great.
Well, thank you. So, yeah, I was going to tell the everybody watching and everybody here a bit more about the Dingo and the history of this particular vehicle and its importance to Canada and Canada's Second World War history. And I see that you and your lovely wife are out here, not my usual driver, Ken. So tell me what you're doing here.
Around, we saw an event going on, we thought we'd join in.
Right. And how are you enjoying Keno Tank Weekend so far?
Oh, I'm loving it. I love this place. Isn't it awesome? The Ontario Regiment Museum is very close to our hearts. It didn't take long. The people that we meet here, both over 100 volunteers, and just the people that come out that are excited to support this museum. And it really meant something to our heart. This is a 1944 Daimler Scout Car Mark II, affectionately called the Dingo. And these served as a recce or reconnaissance platoon And so it would have operated with a Steghound behind. There'd be 2 dingoes and 2 Steghounds, and these guys would go in harm's way. And this had Canadian soldiers, and these guys would go try to find the enemy. And usually the way they found them is because they were they were shooting at the dingo, and then the Steghound would come up as this big brother and kind of protect it. And we found this piece a few months ago. Been talking to Jeremy about acquiring this piece for the museum because it's special. My wife and I have parents who served in the U.S. military. My dad was in World War II and was in harm's way on a constant basis. And so it really means something special to us to support museums like the Ontario Regiment Museum, which honors those and keeps remembering those who served, some who gave their life and some who gave a long part of their life. They came home, but they still served and gave their lives. And it's important for us as children of veterans to make sure that these stories are told. This was a special piece because Don White, who is a member of this museum, and unfortunately not here this weekend, is almost 99, and he served in these vehicles. And so Don is an awesome person and a great supporter of the museum, and we wanted to do something that would honor Don, that would help y'all to see Canadian history, those who served, some who did not come home. And as this piece is now a reminder. And so we want to present this brand new 1944 Daimler Scout Car Mark II with only 2,900 miles on it to the Ontario Regiment Museum. And we could not be happier to be a part of this museum and this family. My wife's first trip, this is my third. She came up here and she has been just right at home immediately. We really want to thank the people of Canada for you really love history, and you're really friendly, and just like us Texans, we're from the Austin, Texas area, by the way. And so that's it.
Wow. Sir, thank you so much. And the kindness and generosity that you guys have shown, the way that you've just become part of the family. You know, I can't wait for tonight. Now's the perfect moment. These are member-only uniform. You can't buy these in the gift shop. They can only be earned, and it means you're a part of this family. So I'd like to present both Chuck and Dara with museum hats, and they're now lifetime members of this museum.
Thank you. Thank you.
Unbelievable. Okay, so now welcome Dingo to the Ontario Regiment Museum, to the collection. And what I was saying about Don White, Don wanted to be here this weekend. He's a Second War veteran who served in the Royal Canadian Dragoons and the Staghound, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. And but he couldn't be here today, being 98 years old, day to day. But he was so excited when he heard that these guys were going to acquire this vehicle, and just to be in the museum collection so that we can continue to tell Don's story and the story of the Dragoons and those who served in these vehicles. And he's completely right. This is a light reconnaissance vehicle. Don himself was telling me how this was the pointy end. This was one of the most dangerous positions to be in, was in the light recce vehicle. And most of the time, just as Chuck, as you were saying, and he experienced this in real life, the dingo would be fired upon by gun positions or Stoogs, and because of its small size and low profile, often the gun was aimed too high. So they would get one shot off at the dingo, and then the dingo would be able to quickly escape. An amazing feat of engineering. A couple things about it. It's really the first run-flat tire. These are solid rubber tires. These are original tires from 1944. There's no tube or air in those tires. And the transmission allows the vehicle not only to get into trouble, but to get out of trouble just as fast. It can move in all of its gears, both forward and reverse. So quite a remarkable vehicle that then led to the Ferret Scout car that you saw in the 1990-91 Gulf War scenario. And in honor of Don and his very generous donation, we have the flag of the Royal Canadian Dragoons. So once again, both to you, thank you very much.
And then the helmet's going to be painted up in RCD.
Yeah, I mentioned that before. It's going to be painted up to match the Stag Hound. So thank you guys again, once again, to these incredible donors. To come to Aquino Tank Weekend and make this kind of contribution to living history. Stand by. Okay, so there's the light reconnaissance vehicle that would have served with this, and this is the Stag Hound I was talking to you about. You notice it's also wheeled. But if you look at the M3 Stuart and other vehicles that are similar to it, this thing is pretty much a light tank, but on wheels. So just like the Dingo, it was very fast. It was perfect for urban areas, if you think about Northwest Europe. And Don White, he served on a Stag Hound, but we don't have museum members in this vehicle here. And this isn't a museum vehicle, it's a guest. This vehicle is it's the historical vehicle troop of the Royal Canadian Dragoons out of Petawawa. And you can see they have the pennants up there. So in here, we actually have currently serving members of the Royal Canadian Dragoons who came to Aquino this weekend to turn wrenches and help keep history alive. Let's hear it for the Dragoons. Come on, wave, guys, just a little bit. This museum has worked with the Dragoons since about 2019 in continuing the restoration of this Stag Hound. So we're sort of partners in helping the historical vehicle troop whenever possible. And one of the incredible things that we were able to restore is the 37 millimeter main weapon on this vehicle. So this is going to be very loud. Maybe not as loud as the 25 pounder, but we're going to demonstrate what that smaller weapon. At the early part of the war, many of the tanks had weapons of that type of caliber. And as you see, as the war progressed, vehicles became larger and larger, and the weapons increased in size as well. At the front of the vehicle, the co-driver there has the 30 cal weapon, and then there's a coaxial machine gun. So this is going to be loud. They're going to do a fire demonstration, black powder. Stag Hound crew, are you ready? Fire! Let's hear it for the Stag Hound, the Royal Canadian Dragoons, historical vehicle troop. An amazing group of guys. These guys actually serve our country and do this stuff for a living. But to honor those who came before them, the memory of their regiment and all Canadians coming out here and keeping history alive. Guys, it's been a pleasure to have you here, and we look forward to hopefully having you here at Aquino next year, right? All right. All right, so here we have the Don White. He always says, now that there's, he said, if you guys had 2 of those there, you'll have half of my troop. Well, here's half of a Dragoon troop in the Second World War. And we're going to take you around another time so everyone can have a good look at you now that they understand the importance of these vehicles. And once again, from CFB Petawawa, and now, I guess, part of the Ontario Regiment Museum collection. Thanks so much, guys. Roll out.
Alrighty, so how about those wheeled vehicles? A little controversial, but they're in great shape.
There's nothing controversial about a wheeled vehicle as long as you don't mistake it for a tank.
Well, it's pretty cool. Who can't be mistaken is we got a little dead meat _ BC driving the Dingo. Did you all see that?
Not the only World of Tanks name you're going to hear around here.
No.
It's amazing the the confluence, I have to say, between World of Tanks and Aquino. You're going to see more World of Tankers.
Yeah, definitely a lot of your favorite faces. So especially for our friends who are watching us on Twitch, and I really hope that everybody has our Twitch channel open right now, because that is how you're going to get those free in-game goodies, by claiming those Twitch drops. But the only way to get claimed Twitch drops is, of course, to watch us on Twitch and link up your World of Tanks and Twitch accounts. But we do have a lot of familiar faces for the North American audience specifically. We've got a lot of streamers out here. We have, of course, you just saw Dead Meat, who made the most generous offer of donating an entire armored vehicle, the Dingo. I also bumped into Rickety Enge, a longtime viewer of the World of Tanks Twitch channel, whose grandfather actually was part of the crew for the Staghound. We've got some B-Ted here. We've got Talk to Me Goose. We've got Damien's Gaming, 13 Disciple, Sophie Line, Lady May, you name it. A lot of your favorites are out in full force this week, so you can catch their streams or even catch them on our very stream. And it looks like
They're doing another lap.
They're doing another lap.
Interesting thing about the Staghound, made by Ford mainly, but they're not actually used by the U.S.
Oh.
They're pretty much only used for export.
Fun fact. And I did love Dora's hat as well, not a native Texan, but as an adopted Texan. That's the way to come out, in a sequined American flag, red, white, and blue cowboy hat.
And you have to say, Recce or Recon, if you're an American, is one of those underrated roles. People don't, I want the big tank, After I left tanks, I went into Recon. I was a cavalryman as well. And it's one of the most important things on the battlefield. Without your eyes, you don't know where you're swinging.
And they've got a big collection of the Recon vehicles, the CVRTs.
Yes,
They
have a whole fleet of them that they were using in the Gulf War reenactment. Scorpion, Scimitar, Samson, Striker. They got 2 Strikers.
Introduction, but you want to learn more specifically about the vehicle, get up close with them, talk to the crews, meet Chuck and Dara over.
The Tank Museum guy is talking. We're trying to see if there's what's coming out next, but you'll just have to join us in our surprise for the next vehicle.
A guest vehicle from the Canadian.
Alrighty. Oh,